Alright, today I'm gonna continue the stuff that I was doing previously. I think I'm gonna try VS Code today because I'm gonna do CSS, I think. Oh, I forgot to do my thing here. So I think I can close this. I don't remember correctly, but I think it's Flask run to run the website. Maybe Python Flask run. So I decided to just leave the links for the website because I tested and it was working. I typed hello on one of the other templates and then I clicked the link and it worked. So then I'm gonna style differently and see if I can make it so that it looks like a button. Uh, because I think the figuring out how to make a button that works is just gonna take a lot longer. And I still have to work on the other two pages. So yeah, okay. So let me see what templates I need to open here. I think the home. Script Viz. I think, yeah, I'm gonna work on Script Viz first, I think. Or maybe I should change the name of these folders as well. So they are the same name as the template. And I do get confused. Oh, I forgot to put the alarm here. Also run the app by entering Python/m flask run. I didn't do the /m parts. No module name Flask. Or maybe I need to be on the script folder. Yeah, hopefully now it's gonna work because I'm on the folder that has the flask.exe execute. So here I have to change the names now to script this, script this. I don't know why VS Code is so slow lately. It didn't used to be like that before. And then the other folder this. Probably gonna copy the stuff from script this to folder this. Now locate a Flask application. It did not provide the Flask / underline app environment variable. Oh, I need to activate the environment, the virtual environment. That's the problem. I forgot about that. Or maybe I should stay on the same folder. cd /scripts. Then I'm not sure if I need to specify. I think it's just activate. Not bad. Okay, now I go back. And now I do Python /m flask run. Yeah, I think now it should work. So I'm gonna copy this stuff here from here. And then I'm just gonna change the names now. I need to change the description as well. The title. So here I already have the files. I think I'm gonna work on this first. So the main div is, I think I'm gonna make body. Kind of forgot how to do CSS, but I think it's body height 100%, width 100%, then background color. I think I'm just gonna do this one, black. And maybe HTML here as well. I don't know if it matters that much. Let me leave it like that. Then the submit stuff is on the div options. So dot options and display flags. No, I don't remember really well how to do it. I know it's flex direction or something like that. And there was align items and aligned content as well. Justify content, I think. Yeah, center. And then I'm gonna have to change the style of the links as well, which is class, script viz, and folder viz. Maybe this is incorrect. Not sure why. Well, just because it's empty. I don't know if I need to do display flags, box sizing. I think most of the stuff I'm just gonna look it up. The one that is gonna be the most difficult, I think, is gonna be the animation I wanna do. Let's see if it's working now. Okay. So that's not what I want. So maybe I'm gonna put row here. I'm gonna do it like this. Yeah, then I have to put margin as well. Let's put 100 pixels. Padding. Oh, I'm actually putting this on the div, not the thing. I think I'm gonna put some height on the main div. Yeah, I just realized that this main div doesn't matter that much because neither this one. So I think I'm gonna erase this. Oh, maybe I need to put some description here. That was the idea. Here I'm gonna use ID instead of class. Then there was position, I think, that I can use. Well, also, yeah, I don't think it matters, but I can put overflow hidden so that the things don't show up to this thing. Apparently, it's not changing. So let me think. I want this to be this in the center of the page, not up here. Also, I'm gonna research what WebKit does and how to use it because I see it very often on other websites. Yeah, that's the thing. I want this to be in the center. So how can I do that? Maybe if I put height. And this doesn't reload automatically. So I'm gonna have to reload every time, I think. So main div, I think I'm gonna put, just gonna put anything here just so it doesn't show that. It still didn't change anything. Yeah, I guess it's because it's only the height of the div and not the position on the page that I'm changing. Let's see if this changes anything. I was in the middle. Oops. So this is one that I want to change. Doesn't look like it's on the center, which is weird. I think here I can put margin and padding as well. Just separate the links. Yeah, much better. Maybe I'll put even more actually. I forgot which one. I think margin is the outside and padding the inside. Yeah. So maybe I'll increase the margin to say 75. And let's say, let's try position absolute. I remember I did this at some point, but Why is the body not 100%? Ah, there we go. So that now the body is 100%. So the reason why was because I didn't put the dots there. So, but it's still giving me this overflow, this thing here. But I am putting overflow hidden here. So, and this doesn't look quite right the way that I wanted. Maybe I'll put 80% here. It doesn't change anything. Oh, because... Huh. Let me see, margin 0. Yeah, I remember this happens sometimes as well. When I was doing other projects, is I don't really understand why this happens. If I click on the body, yeah, margin 8 pixels. Oh, I need to reset the HTML, I think. That's why. Huh. I forgot about that. So every time you're gonna do an HTML, you gotta reset it first so that this stuff doesn't happen. Where here I have user agent style sheets, and that's some defaults from web browsers, if I remember. So there was something about resetting style sheets. Yeah, but it's not working. Something happened here, apparently. All these folders changed colors. And also the background color is white and not black. So I think the vision that I have is make the background color black. It should links seem like they are buttons and evenly across each other, and highlight the buttons with a green color once you pass the mouse over it. Green or red, we'll see. Maybe I can change the font as well. Here I think I can put something like choose what you would like to visualize. Great, it's not showing up. Oh, maybe it's because I didn't. Oh, I did put height here. So maybe I have to change the options thing. Let me remove this side. It still doesn't show. It must be because of this user agent bullshit. Maybe I should look into bootstraps as well. From what I understand, Bootstrap is something like the JavaScript CDN link, where you can link to some library and then you get a bunch of functionalities without having to do everything yourself. And first I'm gonna look at how to reset this CSS. I also need to look at how to do an animation that follows mouse movements. It's kind of hard to explain. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to find videos about this because it's kind of hard to explain what I want to do. It's basically I want to do something that as the mouse moves through the page, it shows something. And I also don't know how hard that is to do. I think I'm gonna watch a video on these articles is to just put a bunch of bullshit there to make the article longer instead of getting to the point. Oh, so here he's not using the dot. So maybe I should take it off. But when I put it there, it worked. This div is not even showing up. I don't understand why as well. Maybe if I increase the height. But it should be showing even with 100 pixels. Oh, it might be because of Jinja as well. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think the audio is working. whatever. I'm just gonna change on the OBS.
Question: would you build a web?
Okay guys, so in this video we are going to talk a little bit about default margins, paddings and box sizing. So let's get into it. Now here we have this basic web page with just a h1 and h2 and a paragraph tag. So if we look at this default styling, this is just HTML, there's no CSS or anything like that. So we have the HTML tag, we have our head tag, and then we have the body. Do you notice this little orange box around the body here? The orange box is indicated as, is basically the margin. So by default, your browser will give your body tag a margin of
Why is
a
mine not
certain
showing
amount.
up?
Basically, it's going to be 8 pixels, as we can see here out in the outline. As you can see, I can actually highlight the outline here, or the margin, which is going to be 8 pixels, and there's no border, there's no padding, and the content box itself is 304 pixels times 124.33444, right? Okay. Same thing goes for the H1 element. We can see here that there's a margin, and there's some content. H2 has the same thing, and the paragraph has the same thing. Now, these are default stylings so that an HTML document can have some air to breathe and so forth, and these have been around for ages and ages and ages. However, when you are designing a web page, it's very rare that you want to keep these default values. What we usually like to do is to do something we call a reset or a page reset. And the way that, there's many ways to do this, and my personal favorite one is, when it just comes to this sort of thing, is to do something like this. Let's actually look at the HTML first and foremost. So it's the same page with one single style property, which is the star here. Now be a little bit careful with the star. You don't want to star absolutely everything. This is a good, reasonable thing to do. So star basically means absolutely every element on the page. So what we do is that we set the default margin for every element to 0 and padding to 0, and then we do this box sizing and we set that to border box. Now I'll touch on that in just a moment. So what's going to happen now is that, as you can see, the body has no default margin, the H1 has no margin, H2, and the paragraph tag, none of them have any type of margin. And the padding will be applied to elements that has a default padding. So what we've done now is that we have said that, all right, remove all margins and all paddings by default, and then you can override the elements that you want, which is usually what it's an easier way to work, at least from my experience. So what's the deal with this box sizing thing here? Well, to illustrate box sizing, I'll show you this little web page that I thought illustrated it very nicely. So the default behavior of the browser is to have a box sizing of content box, which means that the width and the height of the element, when the browser is actually calculating what the width and the height of your element is, it's going to only look at the content. So in other words, from the browser's perspective, the width is going to be this blue area as you see here. Well, actually, let's look at this. From the browser's perspective, the width of this element is the blue area plus the margin, which is the orange area. So this is the width plus this area. But when the browser is doing the calculation, it's going to say that, hey, this is the width. I'm going to just exclude from my calculation this margin here. I'm just going to focus on this content area here. And that is a default behavior. And it's very rarely the thing that you want. And that's why border box has become almost a default setting that you set on all elements. Because what happens when you put something to border box is that the browser is going to put an idea back. This is just, you're good to go. Have a great day.
My concern is that this is gonna affect the style of the other things. And that's not what I want to do exactly. I'm not even sure if that's gonna work. I remember I had to use a link or something like that to restyle it. Yeah, but now at least showing me this. Yeah, he cut out the margin here. So maybe it is working. Let me do it like this. So it might be different because now it's not working. And now it works. What if I put the same thing that I did there here? Maybe I'm doing this wrong. But I thought it should be to access classes. And now it's showing up. But so this will automatically clean the page before it loads. I think I'm gonna watch a video again. So I'm gonna search for this. So maybe it's just color here. Or maybe background. I don't see why background color wouldn't work. Yeah, it's something else that is wrong here. I think the resetting that the guys talked about, it doesn't work really well. But here it should be displaying. If I put color, yeah, nothing. Maybe it's because of Flask. I wonder if I can stop this from showing up there every time. So annoying. I think I did that correctly. Yeah. Maybe if I erase the HTML from here, that might be the problem. It's still not working. Yeah, so this is probably not my problem. I don't think this is the problem because I think it's very common to put the script parts at the bottom. Maybe they are talking about when you put more than one CSS links, then it would make sense, but font size is probably not gonna change anything. The body doesn't even have any text. I'll be right back. The weird thing is that it looks like I'm doing everything right, so maybe just I don't put this type here. Yeah, but I think from the Flask part I'm doing the right thing because it is showing up there what I'm putting on the CSS. So it means it's loading. So I don't think this is the link part. That should be something to do with this user agent, maybe. But here is also showing me that it got erased from this. So I think I'm gonna take this off and see if it stays. Yes, it's. I don't know how to say this. Crossed or whatever. So I don't think it's the user agent as well. I had this problem before. Maybe I have to do .html separate here and just do margin 0. Padding inbox, bar box. It doesn't change anything. So what's up with that? I'm gonna comment everything out and see. And the body should be 100%. That's the problem. Maybe it's because I'm putting overflow hidden. And that's not doing what I think it's doing. No. Oh, I know what I can do. I can look at the CSS from this one and see how they did it. It looks pretty normal to me. That's another thing that I can probably change later, but I don't think I'm gonna do that actually. Yeah, so it's not that I'm writing in the wrong way. Maybe it can be this block thing here. Because when you do it like this, it doesn't show up. Well, let me try to see if that's the case. I think I can also look at the HTML from the V's and just do it like that. Maybe because I'm using this extends base.html. It still doesn't work. See they, yeah, but here I think they're doing like this just because they have a variable somewhere else. Yeah, because the when you do the script, you can change the height and width. So that's not because of CSS. Here I changed this. So it's not that as well. Yeah, they just wrote body. I can't see what is wrong here. You should just scratch this base HTML. It's not like it's doing anything really useful. Maybe if I was gonna do something more complex, that would be useful, but yeah, now at least it changed the height. So maybe now if I do background color, it's gonna work. So why is the color not changing? No, but that's what I did there. It still doesn't work. I'm pretty sure it must be the CSS reset thing. Hmm. I think I'm gonna watch the bootstrap stuff.
Question.
The only question I have in my mind is how am I
Framework that
gonna,
helps you make
how do you choose the bootstrap? Which bootstrap to use?
responsive websites. Responsive means that when the size of the window or screen changes, the layout of the website still looks good. To incorporate Bootstrap into your application, there are two things we can do. We can either import the Bootstrap into our code or download a sample project. To start, we'll take a look at the code we've been working on in Sublime here and import the framework. To import Bootstrap, we can either download it and link it locally to our code or just link it from the internet. We'll link it from the internet for now, and it's going to look a lot like how we linked our CSS here. So going to the Bootstrap website, we can just copy and paste this into our code here. And now we have Bootstrap. Super easy, right? Now if we save this and open up our index.html again, you'll notice our styling changed a bit here. That's because Bootstrap already has some CSS built in, which make this header and the paragraph and the italicizing look a bit different. But if we wanted, we could always overwrite whatever Bootstrap has in our own CSS. Now the thing that makes Bootstrap responsive is its 12-column grid. Bootstrap documentation can sometimes be confusing, and so I think this image will help. Basically, Bootstrap divides a web page into rows and columns. Each row is divided into 12 columns, down here, 1, 2, 12 of them. And an element, say a paragraph, an image, a header, can take up any number of these columns. You can also have multiple elements in one row. An element could take up all 12 or just, the 3 on the right columns or whatever. Now, no matter the screen size, it's broken up into 12 columns. So I can specify how many columns I want for each element on a small, medium, large, extra large screen. I can also say that I just want it to take up, 6 columns on a middle screen, and it will resize itself appropriately for the smaller and larger screens. This may be confusing, but don't worry. We are going to mess with it ourselves right now. Let's say I wanted 2 different headers on the same row, taking up an equal amount of space, and a button underneath the second header. Well, we'd have one row, and each header would take up 6 of the 12 columns. And so first we need our row, and so that would be a div class equals row, and then we'll close the div. This is our row. Row is a class in Bootstrap that is already written for us, so we don't even need to worry about it. And then we'll have div class, and we'll say col-md-6. And this is basically saying have a column that goes on a medium-sized screen, and it will be 6 columns in length. And so we will close this div, and then copy this because we want 2 different columns, each 6 columns in length out of the 12, columns that take up the whole screen. And then inside of these, we'll have our header 2s. One will say hi there. The other will say hello. Save this, refresh the page. Now we have hi there, hello. Now why does this look a little weird? Well, the div, our first div, col-md-6, what this does is it takes from this area of the web page all the way to the middle. So that's 6 columns, it's half of the web page. The other one, which goes from 6 to 12, that's our hello one. And so if we add more content to this, we'll be able to see it more clearly. And so if I just type some stuff in here and then copy it over to our other header, save it up, go and refresh our page, you'll notice this stuff goes on to the next line. And when I shrink this page, now both of these are on separate lines. And so stretching that out again, it goes from 2 columns down, 2 on top of each other. And that's what Bootstrap does. Now for adding our button, we'll just go to the button documentation here for Bootstrap, and we'll scroll down. Here's the link we want. And this basically says create a button in Bootstrap. And so we'll paste this. Button is a HTML tag, and button primary are the things that are actually going to make our button look really good. So if we save this, refresh the page, there we go. Now we have this button primary, and notice it's actually under our second header. And when we stretch this out a bit, it stays under our second header, and it stays in this designated column, which is made up of the 6 columns that make up the entire 12 columns of the whole screen. Now, I haven't shown you everything with Bootstrap. There are lots of classes like forms and jumbotrons already built into Bootstrap, so you don't have to create everything from scratch. Google will definitely be your friend for this type of stuff. So that's it for
Question.
Everybody, today I'm going to show you how to get started with Bootstrap v5 Alpha in less than 20 minutes. As you might know, Bootstrap is one of the popular open source CSS frameworks out there that allows us to build fast, responsive sites. Although today's tutorial is just an introduction to get you started, I will be looking to develop a full-on website using Bootstrap. So if you are interested, please consider subscribing to my channel, smash the like on this video, comment below if you have any questions, and now let's not waste any more time, let's jump on the computer and get started. Welcome everybody, let's get started by looking at what Bootstrap is. Bootstrap is basically a free open source CSS framework that allows us to build fast, responsive sites. It contains CSS and optionally JavaScript-based design templates for typography, buttons, forms, navigation, and other interface components. One of the big changes in the latest version of Bootstrap v5, which is still in alpha by the way, is that it no longer depends on jQuery. To get started with the latest version of Bootstrap, go to v5.getbootstrap.com and click Get Started. Now, there are 2 ways of getting started. The quick way is using the Bootstrap CDN, which we can include the CSS and the JS files into a project. And the other way is by downloading the source files of Bootstrap and then including them into your project. Today, I'm going to show you how to use the Bootstrap CDN. So let's scroll down to CSS and JavaScript. And I'm going to copy the style sheet here. And I've already created an HTML file, which is called index.html. And to make the style sheet work, we need to paste it here under the title, just like this. Let's go back. Now let's copy the JavaScript files, which will allow our components to function.
So it looks like it's just one thing. I thought there was several different bootstraps that you can use, each one for a specific layout. Maybe there is, but So maybe using this is just too much for what I'm trying to do. Because I'm just gonna have two buttons on one page, then an input on the other one, and a button on the other one. So it doesn't make sense, I think. But I don't understand why this is not working. It should be. And if I put, it's probably because the body is not. And now it shows here. Maybe it's the Flask thing that is not reloading this stuff. But if that was the case, then it wouldn't be changing the position of things. I'll try to run again, I think. But can't be the problem. Doesn't make sense. Oh, I need to create the files here as well. gonna try to put this here and see if it works. I'm gonna have to use URL, and that's the problem. Maybe it's not necessary actually, because I remember on the PyVis script was just the link, nothing else. And you're still showing this here. So what am I doing wrong here? Doesn't make sense. It's probably something really stupid that I'm not thinking about. And I remember having this problem in the past. But the solution, I can't really remember what I did. I just remember that it wasn't something really crazy or anything like that. It was just a slight mistake that I made. But it's pretty much the same thing here. Let's see if this changes anything. Yeah. So I have to think. Back on transparent. Maybe if I change the color to something else. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. No, now it works. Huh. So it was the color all this time. The weird thing is that it was showing up here. Yeah, I knew it was something stupid like that. Oh my god. At least I made it work. So now I think I can put this on the same thing. And it doesn't matter. And I wonder if I should leave all this stuff here. Yeah, so now I have to figure out why this div is not showing up. Oh, here it is class and not ID. Even though I put ID here. Which is weird. I guess this must be because of the Flask stuff. And now at least it's showing the stuff that I put there. But it's still not showing the div. We have to put height and width. Ah, there we go. Font size, font color maybe. Family string. Font style. No, style shouldn't be the color. Yeah. With text color. The problem is that I don't want to change the whole div, just the text. And here I just have the div, so... Oh, maybe I should wrap that text into another thing. And then give a different class and do this. I think I'm gonna close this one. And now a list I can see here. I'm gonna change these buttons later. Oh, but here that isn't... It is not showing up the text. I wonder why. Maybe it's the indentation that I did incorrectly. It should be showing up there, even if it's not wrapped around anything. The weird thing is that it's not even showing up here. Oh. No, I don't think this is the indentation or otherwise the other ones wouldn't be showing up. Try to change the color and see. The problem is that it's gonna color the whole div as white, and that's not what I want. And it's not even changing here. Maybe I should, yeah, if I change this to class, maybe that's the problem. It's not gonna change anything, but I just wanna change that. Options. Maybe we should put 0 margin or just auto. And change this position as well. Shouldn't it be in the center here? Oh, now it works. Yeah, there we go. So this is weird again. Probably something that I'm not. Maybe if I change the name to the of this one. I don't think it's gonna have any effect, but it doesn't hurt to try. Yeah, it's probably the Flask thing. Because I changed here and it's still showing up as main div. So let me try to rerun that. I think it's Ctrl C to stop. Hmm. Oh, it doesn't show anything. That is super weird. Maybe it's because of the stuff I did here. Or because I changed the name to body. That's probably why. It's not showing anymore. Yeah, so I'm gonna copy again from the other and see if it works. But then I wonder if it's gonna screw up the thing in the body. The CSS. Probably not. It's still not showing anything. So what's going on here? Doesn't make any sense. There's a style here that I didn't put as well. Maybe if I open this again, but I doubt that it's gonna be different. It's weird. Maybe I changed the base HTML. No, I didn't do anything here. It's weird that I didn't do anything very differently on the HTML page. So it doesn't make any sense for me why it wouldn't be loading. Maybe it's VS Code again, the problem. So that might be the problem. Somehow this index.js is on this page, which it shouldn't be. Which is the file for the vis thing. Or maybe I forgot to change some name here. But here's home. This is the file from Network X, I think. No, it's not. It's different. Yeah, this is probably something on the back end of VS Code and doesn't have anything to do with why the things are not loading. So what do I do now? Maybe it's because I'm not loading this properly. Let's see. Yeah, here it says home, so it should be this HTML here. So the problem is probably not here. Trying to think about ways that I can research this. Because I have no idea what should do, what is going wrong here. And I can't really look here. If I erase all the stuff that I got from the page. But I don't think it shouldn't have any difference. I'll leave the ones for the A tags. Delete the input. Because the issue is not the CSS, the issue is that it's not showing up here. So it has to be on the HTML rendering thing. Oh, it's because I should put the body there. Here it has a body. Yeah, let's try that. Maybe that's the problem. It still doesn't show. Hmm. So what's up with that? Maybe I can try to run it with PyCharm as well and see if it works. It's weird that it's black as well. So yeah, that indicates that the CSS is working and is loading the body, but so this should be working. The HTML is loading, the body is showing. Maybe it's the indentation. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I think I'm gonna stop here and then just research that off stream because it is something that looks like I'm not gonna be able to find an answer here. I'm gonna have to think about it or explore different ways to try and solve this. Maybe it's PyCharm as well. Maybe it's VS Code that is not loading this stuff. It's weird because it looks like everything is fine and it was loading before. Yeah, but that's a bad sign as well if it doesn't load with VS Code. But I just can't think about any way to do anything because to me it seems like everything is fine here. Maybe if I do this outside of the body, it works. But I don't see a reason why it would work. But yeah, it's just the same thing. The problem is if it isn't something simple, I'm gonna have to research, read the documentation on Flask, and spend a bunch of time on this. And then I'm just trying to get this done as quickly as possible so I can move on to the more important things. I don't think it should be the divs as well because the PyVis file had normal divs. Yeah, here div, ID. think what I'm gonna do actually is stop this here, and then next time that I'm on stream, I'm gonna start studying the Ethereum stuff because that's what I wanna do, and then I'm gonna work on this off stream. And then once I make a lot of progress and I have the pages, then I can do the explanation of the things that I did on stream. I think that's gonna be better. Because that way I'm not gonna spend I can start doing the things that I wanna do already, which is blockchain, Ethereum, smart contracts. Which I think has higher potential than the stuff that I'm doing here. Both for finding work and for long term. And also focusing more on Python, deep learning, that kind of stuff. Because this CSS and HTML is really boring anyway. It's easy. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So next time I'm probably gonna see if Build Space is doing any projects or anything like that. If it isn't, then I'm gonna look at the crypto zombies stuff. And then I'll think about if there's anything I can do. Or maybe also research on freelancing websites what people are asking for when it comes to both blockchain and Python, and then I can get projects ideas from there. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. And I will do this off stream, definitely, because I wanna get this done with. At least so I have the main sites, but I think, yeah, doing this off stream is probably gonna be better. So see ya.